In 2022, frozen food sales in the U.S. reached over $72 billion. Demand has been rapidly growing.
Temperature vary, it can become unsafe.
Throughout COVID, we had among the highest sales in all of the food space.
Percentages are remarkable in terms of what's tossed in frozen items because of inadequate cold storage temperature.
You think a frozen dinner labeled heart healthy is safe? One retired nurse opened her tray and found 900 milligrams of sodium, nearly half a day's limit, in a single portion. Now imagine eating 2 trays just to feel full. That's double the chemicals, double the salt, and double the damage to your heart and kidneys. The packaging says balanced, but balanced for who? Stick with this video, because what you'll see next proves how food companies disguise shortcuts as nutrition while slowly eroding your health, one frozen dinner at a time.
So the consumers are buying more frozen product. It's going to require more storage capability and a more efficient supply chain. When COVID happened, when supply chain everything got shut down, you saw a huge spike in frozen food, sometimes 30, 40, 50% year-over-year basis. What can consumers afford? A great study by Cornell that looked into how much waste the average consumer has between both fresh and frozen. And what they found was for frozen food, you're 5 times more likely not to encounter food waste.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. On the label, the words balanced or senior friendly look like a promise, but in the tray, they hide something else entirely. The marketing is precise. Packages are printed with calming colors, modest images of vegetables, and comforting phrases that suggest safety.
Frozen category, really seeing things like variety meats more likely to be purchased frozen. At the end of the day, it's about that 4 p.m. dinner tonight decision, right?
Most frozen food products reported double-digit increases.
We did a recent survey and found that over 80% of consumers look to frozen to reduce in-home food waste and also save money.
Freezing technology really hasn't gained leaps and bounds.
Blast freezing, and what that means is, let's say strawberries are coming out of a field in California.
Seniors walking through an aisle often interpret these cues as endorsements of health. A tray that claims to support the heart sounds almost like a doctor's note. But inside that sealed meal, what you get is a very different story. The surface presentation appeals to trust, and many rely on that trust when choosing food. This is not an accident, it is strategy. Take a closer look at a chicken dinner branded as heart healthy. At first glance, it seems reassuring. Clear labeling, portion size, lean poultry. But flip the pack over, and the numbers reveal a different character. Hundreds of milligrams of sodium in a so-called single serving. Sometimes close to half a full day's maximum limit before you even add another meal. The claim and the contents do not match. Why would a product supposedly designed to protect the heart carry a burden that strains it further? That question is what pushes doubt into every neat row of frozen dinners stacked in the store. One retired nurse did that math when she served herself what looked like a harmless chicken meal. She had worked in hospitals long enough to know the dangers of excessive sodium. The tray looked small, the ingredients appeared basic, yet the back of the box listed numbers she found disturbing. 900 milligrams of sodium, nearly half her daily limit served with a small piece of poultry and a spoonful of mashed potatoes. This was not balance, it was a concentrated dose of risk wrapped in plastic film. The shock comes from the gap between the claims of health and the evidence hidden in plain numbers. Manufacturers achieve flavor and preservation not by filling meals with fresh olive oil, herbs, or slow-cooked vegetables, but by relying on high volumes of salt and sugar. Stabilizers extend shelf life, bind textures, and maintain color that would otherwise fade. These chemical interventions mean meals can sit in freezers for months, waiting for purchase, while still tasting reasonably acceptable once microwaved. The cost of this convenience is a recipe built around shortcuts rather than sustenance. Consumers taste the seasoning, but cannot sense the cumulative load of additives with every bite. Portion sizes shrink to reinforce the illusion of control. By designing smaller trays, companies keep calorie counts per package in the acceptable range. But a smaller meal often fails to satisfy. A person who finishes the tray may still feel hungry, leading them to prepare a second package. That choice doubles the sodium, doubles the sugar, doubles the chemicals meant to stabilize. What looks like restraint on paper turns into excess at the dinner table. The packaging advertises careful balance, yet the serving size practically encourages overconsumption. Beyond the hidden salt, the structure of these meals lacks substance. Protein is often underpowered. A chicken meal might carry only a thin slice of meat, providing far less than a body needs. Fiber is scarce. Sides usually consist of bland starches rather than beans or vegetables with real density. In exchange, the ingredient list stretches long with binders, preservatives, and sweeteners that have no nutritional role. The body consumes calories but gains very little fuel for strength or digestion. That gap grows over time, leaving people dependent on supplements or still feeling drained despite eating 3 times a day. Seals on the boxes strengthen the illusion. A symbol resembling a medical badge or a phrase like meets internal wellness standards communicates authority without outside validation. These emblems appear professional, but they are designed by the same corporation that profits from the sale. Many shoppers mistake them for third-party endorsements, when in truth they only represent a marketing department's criteria. The result is a perception of health built not on rigorous medicine, but on design and clever language. Together, these pieces form a pattern. What seems like a balanced option for a sensitive population is, in fact, the product of economic calculation. Salt costs less than fresh herbs. Smaller portions, lower expenses. Longer shelf life protects supply chains. Every choice favors profitability over nutrition. The balance exists, but it is financial, not biological. It is designed to keep costs low and sales steady, not to keep consumers strong. And if the story of entire dinners is this troubling, what happens when you look past the full tray and focus on single frozen favorites, like breaded meats or pizzas that dominate another section of the freezer aisle? Frozen meals that claim balance or safety are built to last months in a freezer, not to nourish someone's body. Their design protects shelf life, not long-term health. The heavy sodium, chemical binders, and sugar swaps are survival tools for the product, not the person eating it. That's why labels and seals cannot be taken at face value. Customers need to scan ingredients and nutritional numbers before trusting any healthy claim. Every tray reheated without thought stacks daily damage on the heart, kidneys, and circulation. So the question is simple: what exactly hides inside the next frozen meal you choose?